Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to you all about this amazing technology that's coming up. It's going mainstream. It's nothing short of magic, but you can all start to think about how you want to integrate this in your daily in your businesses and enterprise applications. Just to get a sort of a check here and get a sense of the audience, how many people have used augmented reality or virtual reality on a phone or a dedicated device like Google Glass? Few of you, okay. So today I'm going to talk about, share what I know about AR and VR technology, share what are the enterprise applications that can benefit from these technologies, and also when these will start to show up and how to think about sort of adopting these technologies in your businesses. So next slide, please. 1 second, just trying to coordinate slides here. Okay. So AR and VR have existed for many years. It's been used in military for war games, for simulation trainings, but it's been typically very cumbersome, very expensive equipment. And it's starting to now go mainstream in small form factor and affordable prices. It's starting to show up in consumer form factors. So small businesses, consumers can start to experience this tech. AR and VR is not just confined to wearables as you see in Google Glass or HoloLens. It's also, you can see it on an app, like an app on a phone. When you take a phone, you look it through the camera, you point it in a certain direction, and it can overlay points of interest on top of that. That's also AR. You've seen ads in sort of advanced cars where someone's driving and on the windshield they are projecting the maps. That's augmented reality. AR is something that's helping you. It's augmenting your reality for you to be able to do your tasks better. So let me show you some of these devices, and a lot of these devices are standalone devices that make the experience much more natural, much more immersive, and how these are starting to shape the market. So over here, like I said, AR is a live, direct, or indirect view of a physical, real-world environment whose elements are augmented or supplemented by computer-generated sensory inputs such as sound, video, graphics, or GPS. On the other hand, VR is basically replacing your real world with the virtual world. You're not connected with the real world, you're in an immersive 3D environment. That's virtual reality. And just to share some of these devices here, in the first column, the first two columns are AR devices, and the next two are VR. The first column for the AR is devices like Google Glass. Typically they work with the computing power of a smartphone. And they typically need a phone to be tethered to the device via Bluetooth or via a cable. And then you also start to see more standalone devices like HoloLens that give you a far more immersive experience where you are part of the much more immersed and connected with that augmented reality. One of those devices was done by Microsoft, HoloLens, as you've probably seen a lot of videos around it. Then shifting to the next couple of columns, virtual reality. These are devices that sort of replace, as you can see, they pretty much cover your face and eyes. They give you a new reality, the virtual reality. You can immerse yourself in that. There's a lot of devices that work with a phone. Like I've got an example here. You can just put it around your eyes, put your phone in, and there is so with just a phone, you are able to experience, a very basic VR experience. Like, I showed it to my kids, flying, and there is a virtual tour of Paris. They've never been there, but the fact that they could stand in front of Eiffel Tower or the Colosseum and experience a 360-degree view was just amazing. This is the $5 cardboard that you can use with a phone, and this phone is giving out like a stereo projection, and you get a full 360-degree view. Like at the most basic form, you can spend $5, get an Android or Windows phone or iPhone, get the right app, and you start to get this experience. But like I said, it's fairly basic, right? I mean, you can see a 360-degree view, you can immerse yourself in this new reality, but you're not able to interact. Say you are standing in front of the Colosseum, you wanted to interact with it. Like, you wanted to get closer to it, you wanted to, get in the door. You need something more dedicated, something like an Oculus Rift, which is the second column I have here. What this does is, this is not only giving you a virtual reality around you, it's also got sensors, so it can track your body movement, it can track, it can track your head, it can track your hands, and then take your skeletal positions and put you in the game. So you're able to now naturally interact with that virtual environment. So let's look at some of these devices in more detail in the next few slides. So like I said, Google Glass. I mean, we've all seen this. Google announced this a couple of years ago. So this is meant to be used with a phone. Your phone is doing all the computing, and then these devices overlay that information from a smartphone into the user's field of view. So typically it's a little glass in front of your eye where they are projecting the display, and it's mostly for short engagements, like you get a Facebook notification, you get a message. You don't need to pull your phone out. You're able to interact in a heads-up, hands-free experience. You can say, hey, reply without even getting to your phone. It can also be used for capture, and you can take photographs. You can say, hey, Google Glass, take a picture. It'll take a picture. So you don't have to, again, it's a hands-free, heads-up experience. It can also be used for navigation. So for those of us who don't have those fancy cars, if you want, you can put on this glass and it'll show you the maps. And then, I've got a little demo here. I want to show you the demo really quick, how some developers have tried to use, a technology from 2 years ago to augment how firefighters can be more productive, how it can be applied in, in enterprise applications. It's going to be a little loud, so you may want to keep the volume down.
This is firefighter Patrick Jackson, glassware developer.
Okay, guys, show the floor plan.
He wants to give firefighters hands-free access to the information they need, when they need it.
That's the view in their eyeglass.
So one day, firefighters everywhere can work faster, safer, smarter.
Okay, class, show extraction diagram. 2001 Ford Expedition. Clap right here.
Because every moment on the front lines is a chance to keep pushing what glass can do. This is Patrick Jackson, firefighter, developer, and fearless explorer.
Very nice thing. Well, the good news for Microsoft is this is no longer sold. We have something better for the industry to go use. Let's go to the next slide. So, that was, as you saw, Google Glass. It's used with a smartphone. It can do a little bit of information overlay in your eyewear. If you want a more immersive experience, if you really want to, use this technology in a more productive way, we came up with HoloLens. There are some other competitors also that a couple of startups are working on. And then the Magic Leap is a company that Google invested in. It's not a Google company, but they are trying to, sort of chase HoloLens, what we are trying to do. So I'm really proud of HoloLens because, I personally had the opportunity to work on this program and create some of the core tech in this. The difference from the previous set of device like Glass is, this is far more immersive. It's also much more interactive. It's tracking your head, it's tracking your hands, it's putting you and making the augmented reality far more natural. So you don't have to sometimes when you use these kind of devices, you can get motion sickness. And HoloLens is one of those things that avoids that. Again, I think the best way to kind of show you the applications would be demos. We feel AR is sort of ideal for enterprise applications where it's making you far more productive. If you have to run through a checklist, you're able to do it with less errors. If you want to repair something remotely, you're able to do that. And like I said, the best way is, let's look at some demos we have created for the industry.
Technology is all around us. We use it in every aspect of our lives. It enables us to do amazing things. But what if we could go further? What if we could go beyond the screen? Where your digital world is blended with your real world. Now we can. This is the world with holograms. What will they enable us to do? New ways to visualize our work.
I have an idea for the fuel tank.
New ways to share ideas with each other.
How are things going your end?
I just put the images in OneDrive.
Perfect.
More immersive ways to play. New ways to teach and learn.
So put the new trap in the place of the old one,
No.
and tighten here and here.
New ways to collaborate and explore the places we've never been.
Look at this formation. Let's take a closer look.
And new ways to create the things we imagine. Because when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see. This is Microsoft HoloLens.
So as you can see the difference compared to the previous video you saw, it's far more immersive. You're interacting with holographic 3D objects in your real world. You're not cut off from your real world. You're helping you do your job better and do it in a far different way than you're used to. It's a whole different way of interacting with the real world. I want to show you one more video. We actually, this is one of our partners in construction, Trimble, and they've been working with HoloLens for a while, exploring how this technology can be applied in architecture, construction type of applications. So let's take a look at that short video as well.
Architects are dealing with shapes and spaces and light, and they dream in 3D. And then you need to translate this design into a set of 2D documents. HoloLens presents a completely new paradigm. Trimble provides design solutions for architects and structural engineers.
Anything that involves getting dirty is our business. Literally hundreds of enterprises can be represented on a job site. Today, the best way those companies have to interact with each other is paper drawings. But people aren't good at visualizing 3D.
Microsoft HoloLens is a head-mounted, self-contained computer that lets you see holograms in the real world.
You get the physical model as a focus point for the team to collaborate around. And you get the hologram with the flexibility, with the ability to run quick iteration.
You'll see how it's brought in the courtyard that you suggested. You see that mouse go off the screen and into holographic space, and you're then interacting with the hologram, with the mouse.
The thing that we can do for architects is really give them much higher confidence around decision making. One way we can do that is we can literally immerse themselves in the scene that they're building and see street side how the building's going to look.
Visualizing design data in the context of the real environment is a much better way to make sure the design is implemented correctly on site.
Microsoft HoloLens allows you to collaborate with somebody regardless of distance. like they were there. Hello there.
Hey, Igor, where they're trying to put this door, there's a leaf behind here.
I'm looking at this being, we're interacting with it about a problem that we can see and being able to solve that problem with all the data that we need in front of us in real time.
When I'm talking about enterprise construction, I always compare it to people trying to make music together. Each one of them is contributing to the harmony, but they all should be completely synced.
My gray hair says I've been doing this for a while. I've seen a lot of these new things come and go. And I expect in 5 years we'll all be interacting with the world with this kind of technology.
So, I mean, he said 5 years. I think it's going to happen a lot faster than that. You know, it's already happening, and you know, the pace at which we are moving, at which technology is moving, is incredible. Like, you know, this will happen, in my opinion, in the next couple of years. Like, a lot of these businesses will be using devices like HoloLens to do things in a way that they've never been done before. You know, beam me up, Scotty from Star Trek. This is as real as it gets, you know, with HoloLens. You can interact with people in remote places just like they were here in front of you in their holograms. So let's look at virtual reality now. So, you know, what we saw so far with Google Glass, HoloLens is augmented reality, where you augment your real world. Now, virtual reality, the next slide is, you know, by definition, the user is cut off from the real world and he's interacting with a net new virtual world. You know, you can, some of the applications, like I said, you know, you can do virtual field trips for kids in education space. You know, you can go on virtual sort of vacation previews. You know, you can also attend music shows in a virtual way. You know, like, anyone use like Airbnb or Hotel.com to do a booking? Like, imagine if you could like walk through the room, you know, and see how it would feel. I mean, you don't have to interact, but just seeing it is far better than, you know, looking at a YouTube or a static picture. So that's already happening. Like I said, you know, with a $5 cardboard and the right content on the phone, it's happening. You know, a lot of these devices that I show here, they rely on a phone to do the computing. They also use the display of the phone to render the content. And then they are basically projecting a stereo, you know, stream of video, and then your brain is stitching it together to be a 3D view. So it's fairly simple tech, and now we are starting to see it go mainstream. Samsung, you know, which is a big consumer VR device that works with the phone, can be used for.
Samsung has made the exciting world of virtual reality a reality. Gear VR Innovator Edition. Powered by Oculus and the Galaxy Note 4, Gear VR is a virtual reality headset that lets you experience games, movies, and more like never before. You simply insert the Galaxy Note 4 into place and put it on. Then select Milk VR and get ready to be amazed. You're going to want some serious sound.
Whoa, what a view.
Gear VR plunges you into a totally immersive 360 environment. What do you think?
Feels like I'm really there.
You can see things from a whole new perspective. Ready for another adventure? Navigate menus, explore worlds, and play games by simply turning your head, swiping, and tapping the side-mounted touchpad.
Now I'm on a safari.
Gear VR brings the experience to life. And where are you? I'm in a really intense battle. Take that. Whoa. Looks like the best seat in the house. Up, down, side to side, even behind you. Everywhere you look, you're in the action. Wow. And it all happens on a Super AMOLED screen on the Galaxy Note 4. The world of virtual reality is finally here. The Samsung Gear VR Innovator Edition, powered by Oculus and the Galaxy Note 4.
So that was VR. Like you saw, you know, the user is not interacting with the real world. the real world is cut off, there's a virtual world produced, and there is some form of the user interactivity with that virtual world. In the simplest fashion, you can have 360-degree views of remote places, and then as you get more advanced, you can start to interact with those virtual objects in a virtual world. So it's the next slide. These are more advanced VR devices. These are they provide much more immersive experience. They provide a far greater way of interactivity. They require more computing. So typically, they don't use a phone. They will use a powerful computer or Xbox One to stream data. And then they will be doing the rendering of the display. And they also have the sensors to be able to redraw the image so you don't get, again, like a motion sickness feel in your head. Because that's the biggest risk that's being, that has to be addressed when you're doing AR or VR. And a lot of these devices are closing that gap very rapidly. So again, when you have one of these advanced devices, the biggest application is gaming. I mean, gaming is a $1 trillion industry, right? I mean, you look at, Xbox One, PS4, games have been there forever. Like, Apple made an announcement at the developer conference. They handed out $30 billion to developers in revenue just on phone, right? I mean, that's how big it's on the phone. And you have PC, you have Xbox, you have arcade games, huge industry. Like, once you've had one of these experiences, you'll never want to play a 2D game, right? So it'll replace the way games are done once this technology is going mainstream. Now, I wanted to get a video to show you what that experience would be. And, I was searching all over the internet. And the funny thing is, it takes a lot of effort to be able to show how the brain stitches together the stereo images. So I wasn't able to find one. So what I did was, last week, I went over to a startup in Seattle. The next slide, please. And that's me. And I put on this gear. I said, I was playing, who has seen Walking Dead? Okay, so I was playing Walking Dead in 3D, killing zombies that are approaching me. I was running away. It's a 25-foot by 25-foot sort of space. I put on this headset. It's wireless experience. It's talking to that computer over there. As you can see, there are two images being projected. And then when your brain sees these images, it's stitching a 3D view. And, I was amazed. Like, I've had the AR experience. I've never had this kind of a VR experience. And I wanted to kind of share my own personal experience here, right? And not like show a video. It was out of the world. I had no motion sickness. So he gave me a couple of demos. Like, one was, fighting zombies. And I swear to God, I was sweating because they were coming so close. Like, it's real, right? I'm not kidding. This was real. Like, and you had to find a gun, and they also had really good ways of shooting. They gave you a gun which had sensors so they can track. They also had ways to pick up other ammunition so you could fight with them. It's real. Like, if any of you really wants to take this demo, contact me. I'll get you connected. It's awesome experience. The other experience they showed me was a more enterprise experience, walking through a dream home, right? Like, let's say you hired an architect to give you some models of a new home, and typically, those of you in the architecture understand, right? The best way that's done today is cardboard model, right? You make a cardboard of the place, you kind of walk the person through the cardboard. Now imagine you could just open doors and walk through different rooms in a 3D environment. That's just phenomenal, right? You'll pay the extra dollar, and you'll have the house the way it's modeled, right? And not in a different color. Or a different way. So anyway, so that was VR. Like I said, once you have seen this, you'll never want to go back to a 2D experience that you see on a phone or a TV. So I want to open it up now for questions, and I'll do my best. Okay. All right. So it's been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you so much.